Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to the new episode of IBU Podcast. Today, we will be talking about entrepreneurship. Our today's guest is Mr. Almin Hodžić, who graduated at Faculty of Economics in Zenica and is currently studying on master studies on the same university. Almin will tell us how can a young person in Bosnia and Herzegovina start their own business. Hello, Almin. How are you?
Hello, thank you. I'm very fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks for asking. For the beginning, I would like to ask you how your enrollment with entrepreneurship started, because I have the information that it actually started a long time ago.
Actually, yes, it started in my early childhood when I was about 6 to 7 years old. When I went to school, instead of rushing home like the other kids, I would actually rush to my parents' company and I would work there and learn much interesting stuff, some operational, some administrative, but it all helped me shape the mindset of an entrepreneur.
So you were basically enrolled in family business as an entrepreneur since your early stages of life.
You could say that, yes.
And did that inspire you to continue dealing with entrepreneurship during your university education and during your non-formal education as well?
Well, you see, when you see people having their own business and all the benefits it brings them in terms of income, in terms of freedom of their time, and being able to go to vacation as much as they please, and simply enjoying life instead of suffering a 9-to-5 job, of course it inspires you. And that's why I've been stuck in that mindset, and I've been looking for my own thing to do my whole life as a child and through my educational process. And yes, that's the biggest factor actually why I'm always for entrepreneurship and why I try to teach other people entrepreneurship.
Looking back in the past, is there one thing that you could highlight, like one experience that helped you the most when it comes about developing entrepreneurial skills and skills in the area of management and business?
Well, there are many things. For example, I had many business ideas, which were, of course, a complete failure because I went all into that without too many calculations. And then I saw the error of my ways. And then through my NGO engagement, actually, I managed to become a board member of Youth Bank in Zenica and while I was a student there. And that actually gave me the chance to see other people's business ideas, see the same mistakes that I've been making, they were making, and then I had to create processes for them that they need to follow some guidelines and some steps which will actually make their idea into a successful business. And as their mentor and the person who approved the grants for their businesses, I think that was a rich experience which also helped me personally to pull the brake and create steps for my own businesses too.
Could you please wrap up all of your experience that you had in Youth Bank and to our listeners today tell how they can maybe start their own business in several basic steps?
Well, usually starting every business is the same old story. Some guy gets an idea and then that guy applies for a grant, unless they have their own capital, of course, which is usually not the case. And they come full of enthusiasm with their idea, but the problem is they ignore the financial part totally and all the steps they need to take to actually implement that, or they don't know anything about registering a business at all. So when it comes to my Youth Bank experience as their mentor, it was my job to revise their applications and to show them the proper way, which is first, when you have an idea, you need to map out the certain steps that you need to take in order for that idea to become real, which means write it down first and then think, okay, what do I need in order to make this a reality? And then you write down what you need. And then you ask yourself, okay, I know what. I know why I'm doing it, probably because I love to do it or something around that. And then you are asking yourself, okay, how can I do this? And then you write it down. And that's how you start from one idea. It branches out into some steps, some requirements that you need, which branches out again into steps, concrete steps that you need to take in order to be able to afford to implement all of that, which in general becomes a business.
And since you already mentioned that the money is really important because without capital we can't actually do anything, we can't start any business. Could you please tell us where we can find money for our ideas? where we can find support, financial support especially.
Yeah, I'll just quickly correct you that technically sometimes you do not need money in case of online businesses, but since we're talking, let's say, for the traditional entrepreneurship here, which is opening a physical store or production or anything, well, there are multiple ways in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The most easy ways would be the NGO sector, where are organizations like Foundation Mosaic, where Youth Bank is actually, it's their branch. They do give grants for opening, sole proprietorship and even LLCs. And you only have to apply and have some good reasoning why that idea would actually be profitable and why would it actually be accepted by the market, and they would give you money. There's also some European funds, but that requires skills of grant writing, which people usually don't have, and they have to hire someone else for that, and that's very expensive. So I would not really recommend that, at least not if you don't have some capital to invest to hire someone or something. And of course, there are ways to do it online through crowdfunding and, angel investors and different kinds of investing summits.
So if I understood it well, in order to get money, you need to either have a person who can write a grant proposal for you, or you need to learn how to write it by yourself. And how can we learn how to write projects and how to create budgets for our future businesses?
Well, when I came here to Birch, I saw a sign which says, readers are leaders. First, read material about it, and then also go to seminars, go to educations. For example, I'm creating an education. It's not based on grant writing, but it's based on financial literacy, self-development, and entrepreneurship. So in a way, I would teach people in that education everything they need to actually be able to launch a business. And once they get those basics down, they maybe don't even need grant writing skills to make it so awesome, because they will have the basic logic and the finance part. So just read, educate yourself, work on yourself.
Since you already told us more about basic steps that we need to follow in order to start our own business, could you please tell us more about your future ambitions regarding your own business?
Well, that's one too many. Well, when it comes to my ambitions, I'm a person who finds his life purpose in education, so I'm starting a online education company, which is also being mixed with graphical design and also e-commerce. Now, I do have a business to inherit, which is in natural and beauty products, which I will link to the e-com thing, but mostly I want to focus on education. I want to create an educational company because although my professors would kill me if they hear me say this, but the formal education system is really low quality today. It's too slow because it's too centralized and it cannot grow that way. So I believe informal education is a vital part in developing people. And of course, education is one of the most growing industries today, and I just love educating people.
If you could please, for the end, just wrap all things up and send one message to our audience that you think is important for them to remember from this discussion.
Well, since we're talking about entrepreneurship, there's one main thing to focus on. All around us, there are problems. You can be the type of entrepreneur that just wants to find a job if you're unemployed, so you can copy anything out there. You can be the type that wants maybe to invent something new. Of course, that's fine, but that takes too much. But if you're the person who finds problems around you and finds a solution to them in any way, that's creating value. Always over-deliver and under-promise. And always stay focused. Never give up, no matter what stays in your path. No matter what kind of obstacle, whether it's money, know-how, or anything, just invest your time and effort doing that, and you will succeed no matter what you stumble upon. You can always beat it. If you don't know something, hire someone to do it for you. Never focus on something you're bad at. Always focus on something you're good at and make it your passion. Live it every day and think it every second, and you will succeed.
Thank you, Almin, for this inspiring message. It was really lovely to talk to you today, and I hope that we will have the opportunity to talk to each other again in the future.
Thank you as well for inviting me.
I wish you luck with your education that you are planning on doing in the future. And thank you, dear audience, for being here with us today. Come and join us in the next episode of IBU Podcast. Goodbye.